Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Virayet Nashtaprayeshu Patreshu Nitya Bhagavata Seviya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Welcome to this discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. So, in our previous class, we have been discussing about Canto 1, Chapter 5, and the Chapter 5 title is Narada's Instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva. So, we completed, there are 4 sections here. First section, Narada inquires Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva responds. And then Narada is emphasizing the importance of Krishna's pastimes. Then, in that specifically, what we see is what was the defect in the compilation of Vedas which Vyasadeva has done. That was shloka number 8 and 9. There were 2 defects: insufficient glorification of Krishna and overemphasis on Purusharthas. Then there is focus on shloka number 10 and 11 focuses on types of literatures. And from 12, the main theme was bhakti is the most valuable part of that needs to be emphasized in the scripture which Vyasadeva is going to compile. So that was on shloka number 12 to 16. Then there is a progression in bhakti. And that progression in bhakti is emphasized from shloka number 17 to 22. So if you see in shloka number 20, 17 to 19, there is progress in bhakti. We need to focus on bhakti. There is no loss when you practice bhakti. And so we need to give the best endeavor, and it is the rarest of all, and the results are permanent. So we saw the parallel, even a small endeavor that we do here will protect us from the greatest danger. So there is a parallel shloka also in Bhagavad Gita on this subject. We saw that. And then Narada instructs Vyasadeva. So he's instructing on a few important things. What is the basic for the basic for the scripture that is going to compile, that is going to compose, that is emphasizing. And then he is asking to describe the Lord's pastime vividly. And this is not just this Narada's view; it is the view of people who have seen this benefit of describing the Lord's pastime. So it is from their learned circle. Now, Narada is describing why the pastimes of Lord and bhakti is very important. That the best way to explain that is Narada's own life. So Narada is describing that I myself is an example. And then Narada is telling that his birth in previous life was that of a maid servant, son of a maid servant. So maid servant means he does not know the name of his father. So it was a very low birth, but um, he happened to be in association of devotees. So that is where we stop. We will try to link this association, this bhakti, process of bhakti, 14 stages of bhakti now, as we read the shloka. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is talking about 14 stages of bhakti and Narada's life. So shloka number 1.5.24 talks about the shloka which Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is Shatam Kripa Mahatseva Shraddha Guru Padashraya Bhajaneshu Spruha Bhakti Anartha Apagamas Tata. Nista Ruchi Ata Shakti Rati Premat Darshanam Are Madhuri Anubhava Iti Harta Shir Chaturdashe. So, this shloka number 24 talks about Shatam Kripa, Mahat Seva, Shraddha, Guru Padashraya. Then, shloka number 1525 is talking about Bhajaneshu Spruha, Bhakti Anartha Pagama, Nishta Ruchi. So, Bhajaneshu Spruha means attachment to devotional service. Then there is then you execute sadhana. So that is bhakti. When you do that, the anarthas go away, and then your sadhana becomes steady, and that results in higher taste. So that is ruchi. Then when you get ruchi, then the sadhana was the benefit. Sadhana was the goal. Executing sadhana was your goal, but not executing service becomes your. That is asakti. Rati means it is closer to love of God. So this is highest thing, highest thing. And then darshana. These are the few things which we will discuss when you go to shloka chapter number 6. So uh, the entire stage of bhakti, Narada is trying to illustrate to Vyasadeva, quoting his own own life, and it is always nice to understand a concept using Acharya. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given a concept of 14 stages of bhakti, and hence we try to relate it. We try to see how it is related in Narada's life. Okay, so with this note, let's go to the shlokas. Mm, just a moment. So shloka number 25. Uchistaleepam anumodita dvijay sakrit smarbhunje tad apasta kilvishata evam pravartasya vishuddha chetasas tad dharma evatma ruchi tajayate. Once only by their permission I took the remnants of their food, and by so doing all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus, being engaged, I became purified in art, and at that time, the very nature of transcendentalists became attractive to me. So, if you see here, he's getting attachment. This Uchista Lepa, Anumodita Dvijay, Sakrit Swabunje, that Apasta Kilvishaha. So, Apasta Kilvisha means all sinful reactions are given. Evam Pravartasya Vishuddha Chetasas. Vishuddha Chetasas is the which is the Anartha Bhagama Nishta. It is Nishta. Then Taddharma Evatma Ruchi Prajayate. Once only by their permission I took remnants of the food. So that is attachment. And by so doing all my sins, anarthas were eradicated. Thus being engaged, so then he engages in devotional service. I became purified in that, so he becomes steady in his devotional service. At that time, the very nature, so he is getting into asakti and nistha and ruchi. So this is what we see here. Then, so Narada took permission of the devotees and took remnants with their permission. By this, all his sins were eradicated. So that is apasta kilpichara. So having developed an inclination for bhakti as his heart is pure, then it is Vishuddha Chetasara. He develops ruchi, it develops taste for. So ruchi prajayate. Then for what? For tad dharma means hearing and chanting the holy names of the Lord. So the remnants of the food of a devotee brings attraction of bhakti and love for Krishna. Usually, the karma is shared by people who eat each other's food. This is a Shastric rule. The day on marriage, wife eats the remnants of the husband's food. This is the beginning of sharing karma. However, in devotional service, Krishna Prasad or Mahaprasad is beyond karma. It is infused with Krishna and devotees' mercy, which removes all anartha, unsinful reactions from us. So we should ensure that we only eat Krishna Prasadam and Mahaprasadam. This will ensure our progress in bhakti. So let us go to the purport of Srila Prabhupada. So we can see here all these stages developed by association of pure devotees, and that is the purport of this stanza. So we need to associate with pure devotee. Pure devotion is compared to a contagious disease. It purifies devotees of sins and material contamination. Association with pure devotees removes obstacles to devotion, enriching neophytes with transcendental qualities. This attraction to personality of God Krishna eliminates interest in material pursuits. That is why anarthas go away, which helps us to lead to a loving service of Krishna. So that is why we need to take association of devotees and engage in hearing and chanting. So let's go to shloka number 26. Tatra Maham Krishna Kata Pragayata Anugrahe Anugrahena Ashramam Manoharaha Tashadaya Padam Vishnu Pataha Priyashravasi Anga Mama Ruchi. So what is this? Let us understand it um, from what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has to tell. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Asakti and the 14th stage, Asakti and Rati is talked about. So Anugrahena Shravanam Manohara. So what is the translation? Oh Vyasadeva, in that association and by mercy of those great Vedantists, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna, and thus listening attentively, my taste for hearing of personality of Godhead increased at every step. So that means what? Asakti. Asakti is with Asakti Narada listens to Krishna Katha every day by mercy of the devotees. By constant hearing, taste for further hearing increases. So for Narada it increased. He then developed Rati. He developed Bhava. So Asakti means constant service. So Lord Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, attracts with his personal features and transcendental activities. He attracts everyone. He descends out of mercy, displaying different pastime to draw, to bring people closer to him, to attract people to him, so that they can give up their mundane activities which waste their time and bind them to material qualities. So hearing about Krishna clears the sins, liberates and attracts us to him. So Narada Muni is trying to explain it in this shloka. Now let's go to the next shloka. One can attain to highest perfection applied simply by attempting hearing of transcendental constants of the law from right sources, as Sri Narada heard them from pure devotees, Bhakti Vedantas, in his previous life. This process of hearing in association of devotee is especially recommended in the age of Kali or okay. Text 27. Tasmin sada labda rucher mahamate priyashravasi ashkalita matir mama ya yayaham etat sat asat samayaya kashye me mahi brahmani kalpitam pare. So what is the telling here? Oh great sage, as soon as I got taste of personality of God, my attention to the Lord was unlimited. And as my taste developed, I could realize that it was only my ignorance that I had accepted gross and subtle coverings for both Lord and Aya transcendental. So the attention of Narada on the Lord became uninterrupted. So it is, what is this uninterrupted? So that is indicated. It's, let's go to the shloka. It is Ashtaklita, uninterrupted attention. So attention of Nada and Lord became uninterrupted. Askalita Mati, because he directly experienced the need for Lord support to free both gross and subtle body. The gross body of Narada got fixed in doing physical services and offering respects to the Lord. The subtle form of Narada got fixed in tasting the sweetness of the Lord's qualities and forms. So thus both gross and subtle bodies did not have any function out of selfish desire. So material ignorance is darkness. So while Supreme Personality of God is like sunlight, and E is like sunlight in Vedic text. So associating with the Lord's pastimes dispels ignorance. So that is why when Narada started hearing about the pastimes of the Lord, his ignorance went away. The conditioned soul, we are all conditioned soul, we wrongly identify ourselves with this material body and material nature. However, the Lord and the living beings are transcendental. We are actually spirit souls. So we need to engage both body and mind in Lord's service, and that will only remove ignorance. So when we engage in service of the Lord, we will get the taste for serving the Lord. So Prabhupada actually mentions two important things here. The groom's body should be engaged in acts of rendering service to the Lord, as in bringing water, cleansing the temple, or making obeisance, etc. Act of Archana or worshipping the Lord in the temple involves engaging one's gross body in service of the Lord. Similarly, subtle body should be engaged in hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, thinking about them, chanting His name, etc. All such activities are transcendental. None of the gross or subtle senses should otherwise be engaged. Such realization of transcendental activities is made possible by many years of apprenticeship in devotional service. But simply attraction of love for the personality of order as it was developed by Nandamuni by hearing is highly effective. So we can realize all these transcendental activities is simply hearing the pastimes of the Lord. That is what Prabhupada is mentioning here. Let's go to shloka number 28. Itam sharad vrishikka ritu hare prashanvato me anushavam yaso malam sankirtyamanam munivir mahatmavir bhakti pravarta rajastamo paha. Thus, during the two seasons, the rainy and autumn, I had opportunity to hear these great souled sages constantly chant the unadulterated glories of the Lord Hari. As the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of modes of passion and ignorance vanished. So during the months of rainy and autumn season, Narada was only hearing the pure glories of the Lord from those devotees, from that Bhakti Vedantis. Thus, the Narada developed prema, which is beyond Rajoguna and Tamu Guna. So this is more closer to Darshanam and Madhurya and Bhava, which so what is that? It is this Darshanam and Madhurya and Bhava, which is elaborated further in chapter 6 by Narada himself. So the transcendental love for Supreme Lord is innate in every being, obscured, but it is obscured. We are not able to realize because of this obscured by material nature. So association with pure devotee and hearing the Lord's glories unleashes devotion like a river flowing to sea. So devotional service is unstoppable and liberating, and it removes the influence of material qualities, restoring the beings to the original state. So that means by practicing devotional service, we are restored into our original constitutional position as servitor of the Lord. So Kunti Devi actually prays that Swayime Ananya Vishaya Mate Madhupate Sakrit Gatim Udvata Hadda Gange Voga Udanvati. So it is, let us go to the shloka. It is a shloka. Swayime Ananya Vishaya Mate Madhupate Sakrit Gatim Udvata Hadda Gange Voga Udanvati. O Lord of Madhu, as Ganges forever flows to sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anyone else. So, as soon as we start hearing about Krishna, the devotional service, the attraction for Krishna uh, is, takes us towards him like a Ganges flowing to sea. Nothing can come on the way of Ganges to flow to the sea. So that is how our devotional service will take us closer to Krishna. Okay, let's go to shloka number 29. Now, we are actually moving to a new section. So Narada's previous life, so shloka number 29 and 30 is going to give some uh, instructions. And so there are clear instructions and some topics on knowledge which Narada is going to give to Vyasadeva. And then Narada is going to talk about Karma Yoga principles in shloka number 32 to 36. Let us look into shloka number 29, 30, and 31. Going back to the shloka. तस्यैव मे अनुरक्तस्य प्राश्रितस्य अतैनशः श्रद्धावानस्य बालस्य तस्यैव मे अनुरक्तस्य प्राश्रितस्य अतैनशः श्रद्धावानस्य बालस्य दान्तस्य अनुचरस्य च was very much attached to those stages. I was gentle in behavior, and all my sins were eradicated in their service. In my heart, I had strong faith in them. I had subjugated the senses, and I was strictly following them with body and mind. So Narada was strictly following the Bhakti Vedantist. He was humble, sinless, self-control. So these are the symptoms that Narada was non-envious of Bhakti Vedantist. This non-enviousness is a qualification for receiving the most confidential knowledge. So a prospective devotee must seek pure association, avoid disruption, and be receptive to instructions of the Guru who have received. Surrendering to God, serving the pure devotees, and obedience to the devotees and authorities ensures success in spiritual life. So we need to be, these are the signs of devotees who is determined to achieve success even in existing duration of life. Prabhupada is telling that if we do this, we can achieve success even in existing duration of life. So this is a very, very important point. Next, number 30. No one has to take work again. No one has to take work again if you follow this non-envious attitude, gentle in behavior, strong faith, strictly following instructions. When we do this, we can achieve success in existing life. ज्ञानं गुह्यतमं यत्तत् साक्षात् भगवतो हितम् अन्वचोन् गमिष्यन्तः कृपया दीनवत्सलाः. As they were leaving, those Bhakti Vedantas who were very kind to the poor and the soul instructed me in most confidential subject, which is instructed by personality of God himself. So, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord tells to Arjuna the reason why he is imparting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to. He is telling, Idam Tetu Guryatam Pravakshyami Nusve Jnana Vijnana Saita Yajnatva Mokshayate Subhat. So Arjuna was never envious of Lord. He was never envious of Lord. And so when we follow the four regulative principles, our exploitative tendency is decreased. This results in decreasing envy. Therefore, we must follow the four regulative principles. When we follow the four regulative principles, the secret, the knowledge, secret in this knowledge will be automatically revealed to us. Revealed to us by our spiritual master, this Krishna within our heart, and also the Guru from whom we are taking instructions regularly. So that knowledge will be directly revealed to us. So a prospective devotee, he should surrender to to the instructions given to him. That means he has to follow. A pure devotee strictly follows Lord's instruction. So we have to understand that Lord is creator, maintainer, and he is beyond creation. So, and currently his instructions are available to, Lord's instructions are available to us through Srila Prabhupada. And he has identified some of his disciples who are carrying the same responsibility of spreading the Krishna conscious movement and deliver the souls who are following the regulative principles. So, the key thing that we need to do is uh, we have to follow four regulative principles, chant 16 rounds regularly. Um, every day we need to chant 16 rounds, get up early in the morning, uh, attend Mangalarti, then take only Krishna Prasada. When we do this day in, day out, then the knowledge of personality of God is revealed to us by Krishna himself through his as a Paramatma, and it is also revealed to us through our spiritual master, whereby we engage in a specific service to Supreme Personality of God or the mission of Srila Prabhupada. So we need to put our effort, sincere effort in following these instructions. So our instructions will automatically get revealed. Only thing is we need to follow our spiritual master's instructions correctly. Okay. Now, yene vaham bhagavato vasudevasya vedasaha mayanamava avidam yena gachanti tatpadam. So by that confidential knowledge, I could understand clearly the influence of energy of Lord Krishna, the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of everything. By knowing that one can return to him and personally meet him. So by knowing Lord and his energy, we should engage in his devotional service. This starts with chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When we know that Lord is the creator, maintainer, and annihilator, the one first thing is we should start worshiping. And the best way is chanting his holy names. Chanting in this age, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So what is that tell? Oh energy of the beautiful, all attractive supreme enjoyer, please engage me in service. That is the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So devotional service or the confidential knowledge reveals Lord's energies. Material energy creates the material world. Spiritual energy creates the spiritual world. So those serving material energy suffers illusion. Those serving spiritual energy bring eternal life and bliss to their life. So Lord desires all souls to return to Him. So pure devotees understand this and follow these instructions and go back home back to God. So we also, when we start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamudra, we will understand this. And by following this, we go back home back to God. The next section, section 32 to 36, talks about process of Karma Yoga. So what is this? एतत् संशुचितं ब्रह्मन् तापत्रयचिकित्सितं यत् ईश्वरे भगवति कर्म ब्रह्मणि भावितम्. O Brahmana Vyasudeva, it is decided by the Lord that the best remedial measure for removing all troubles and misery is to dedicate one's activities to service of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So here, it is not that we just keep chanting. In the beginning, chanting Hare Krishna mantra may be okay, but in addition to that, we need to take up some active service in Srila Prabhupada's mission. So Narada Muni dedicated all his activities for service of Bhakti Vedantas. This resulted in purification. So our focus on hearing, chanting Hare Krishna mantra, following four regulative principles, attending Mangalarati, is following in footsteps of Srila Prabhupada. And in this process purifies us. Not only found that hearing the Lord's activity is the only remedy for life's misery. Without Lord's sanction, no remedy works. So we need to dedicate all activities to the Lord, regardless of profession, engage wealth and talents in His service. Ultimately, find peace by hearing Lord's pastime or serving Him in various capacities. So hearing is required. In addition to that, we have to serve Him the best way possible by us. So this is Karma Yoga, which Prabhupada is talking here. The word Samsuchitam in this stanza is also significant. One should not think for a moment that realization of Narada was childish imagination only. It is not like that. It is so realized by expert and erudite scholars, and that is the real import of word Samsuchitam, decided by the learned. Okay, let's go to the next shloka. Amaya yascha bhutana jayate yena subhaka tad eva hi amayam dravyam na punati chikitsitam. Oh, good soul, does not a thing applied therapy to cure a disease which was caused by that very same thing. So when we do work for Krishna, the threefold miseries are destroyed. We offer food to the Lord and take this act of offering to Lord. Um, this act of offering food to Lord purifies the food. When we eat prasadam offered, prasadam which is offered food, we get purified. Sex life is sinful, but when we apply it for getting Krishna conscious in our children, then it is purifying. So, expertly, a physician prescribes a diet, a therapeutic diet like converting milk into curd to remedy digestive issues. Similarly, material miseries require spiritual treatment. So we need to engage everything in the service of every material thing in the service of the Lord to transform material results into spiritual. This elevates us to a realm which is free from suffering, realizing the truth of Vedic mantra, everything is Brahma. Aham Brahmasmi. Disease and cure are same. If we have a problem due to too much eating milk food, we use converted milk, which is curd, to solve the stomach problem. So this is what is the use. We use the woodcutter uses the wood to make the axe and use the same axe to cut the tree. So that is how we use material things to make it spiritual and then solve the material problems. So let us go to the next shloka, shloka number 34. एवं नृणां क्रियायोगा सर्वे संसृति एतवा तदेत्म एवात्मविना छाय कल्पन्ते कल्पितः परे fruiting work. So here, when all men's activities are dedicated to service of the Lord, those very activities which causes perpetual bondage become the destroyer of tree of life. So fruity work ties the souls to transmigration, which is rooted deeply like a banyan tree. So transform the desire for enjoyment into service to the Lord to attain spiritual perfection through karma yoga. So association with pure devotees and selfless service injects one with transcendental qualities, which leads to attachment to hearing Lord's pastime and eventually helps us in realization of eternal position with Krishna. So through this association of devotee, one gradually develops perfect knowledge of Krishna, uh, who is exhibiting his qualities, and hearing his quality, we reach perfection in our life, which is going back home, back to God. So now, interestingly, um, we may think why there is no mention of bhakti yoga at all. Previously, it looked like Narada was trying to bring emphasizing bhakti yoga, but he is talking about different things. But he is not touched bhakti yoga. But we need to understand that it is coming. It is coming in shloka number 35. Yad atra kriyate karma bhagavat paritoshanam jnana yat adinam hi bhakti yoga samanitam. So, paritoshanam, bhagavat paritoshanam, unto the personality of God satisfaction. Whatever work is done here in this life for satisfaction of mission of the Lord is called bhakti yoga. So this is whatever karma yoga we are talking about is actually bhakti yoga or transcendental loving service to the Lord. And what is called knowledge it becomes a concomitant factor. So what is this concomitant factor? Concomitant factor is refers to something that accompanies or associated with another factor or an event. It is simultaneous occurrence or condition that is connected to main factor or main event, often influencing or being influenced by it. So our activities in our day-to-day life are main factors. We doubted this for Krishna, then there is no. We have to eat food daily. Okay, so that is the main factor. When we offer the food uh, to Krishna and then take, then it is bhakti. So this knowledge that we have to offer to Krishna is a concomitant factor. In introduction to a letter of devotion, Srila Prabhupada mentions how Rupa Goswami utilized his wealth this way. He was actually chief secretary of Nawab Hussain Shah. So Rupa Goswami divided the money in a very exemplary manner, which should be followed by all devotees in particular and by humanity in general. 50% of his accumulated wealth was distributed to Krishna consciousness, namely Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. 25% was distributed to relatives. 25% was kept against emergency expenditures and personal difficulties. So we can see how money, which is one of the important, managing money is one of the important activities. That is the main factor. But when we dovetail it to Krishna service, it becomes concomitant factor. If we are engaged in sinful activities like selling meat, alcohol, slowly we should give up the trade and change our profession. We need this desire because we need this because desire um, because all anarthas will get reduced and then slowly it is easy for becomes easy for us to adapt Krishna consciously. When we work for Krishna, we get purified And this purification results in gaining knowledge about law. Thus, Arjuna's killing in the war is the execution of a prescribed duty. He may get sinful reaction, but when he does that for Krishna, he becomes purified. So this is Nishkama Karma Yoga. This act gives knowledge, and by this knowledge, we can cut all material attachments. So there is a very beautiful shloka in Bhagavad Gita that says, Tesham Sartayuttanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Ta Enuma Upayantite. So in summary, so this shloka, Tesham Sartayuttanam means if somebody executes Bhajatam Priti Purvakam, does devotional service with Priti, Priti means with full love, full interest, then Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi Yoga. So he will give us the knowledge by which we can come back to him. So when we do Nishkam Karma Yoga, we get the knowledge. And this knowledge helps us to go towards Krishna faster. So in summary, the common belief is that following scripture guided fruity work, that is karma kanda, leads to spiritual knowledge. However, bhakti yoga transcends both karma and jnana. Karma and jnana kanda. Bhakti yoga satisfying the law. Bhakti yoga means satisfying the Lord directly by doing activities which satisfies Him. So by this, our material attachment gets purified and we move towards spiritual knowledge. For the other knowledge, when we say material knowledge, it lacks bhakti yoga potency and hence it cannot take us closer to Krishna. So we have so many other knowledge. We may have knowledge about computers. Computers standalone cannot give bhakti, but when we use computer to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, then it is a means of going closer to Krishna. That is engaging everything in service of Krishna. So true enlightenment about Krishna comes from unalloyed devotion to the Lord, which results in creating, doing activities which um, results in spreading this knowledge of Krishna. So, and this knowledge of Krishna comes by hearing and chanting about his glories. So, talking about the use everything in service of Krishna is very, very important for us. So, we need to dovetail our life for Krishna. Then only we can come out of sinful propensities, come out of the sins, and move towards the spiritual goal, go back home, back to God. Let's go to sloka number 36. Kurvana yatra Kurvana yatra karvani bhagavaschi shayaskaka prananti gunanamani Krishnasya anusmaranti cha. While performing duties according to the order of Sri Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, one constantly remembers him, his name and his qualities. A devoted person integrates the remembrance of Lords into all activities. The Bhagavad Gita emphasizes working for Lord in every aspect of life, even in dealings with demigods. We need to ensure we think about Lord. So half of the income should support Krishna's cause and reach devotional service worldwide. Such efforts are guided by pure devotees and hence it leads to spiritual perfection. Prabhupada in the purport makes one important point that we submissively hear the message of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam from bona fide devotee. This is sufficient. This will make us remember Krishna and make everything successful. So we need to utilize our resources for preaching devotional service for Hare Krishna everywhere, all over the world. And the precursor for that is hearing about Krishna from a bona fide devotee. So in the purport, this one interesting. The major portion of our monetary income, not less than 50%, must be spent to carry out order of Lord Krishna. Not only should we give the profit of our earning to this cause, but we must also arrange to teach this cult of devotion to others, because that is also one of the orders of the Lord. The Lord definitely says that no one is more dear to him than one who is always engaged in teaching of Lord's name and fame all over the world. So scientific discoveries of material world can also be equally engaged in carrying out this order. He wants the message of Bhagavad Gita to be preached among his devotees. So it is very important for us to utilize our resources for spreading. After giving up such lofty puffed up vanities, one may very submissively receive orders of the Lord in Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam from the lips of a qualified devotee whose qualification is mentioned above. That will make everything successful without it. What is the qualification? One should constantly remember it, his names and qualities. Accept them in toto and abide by orders followed. That will guide us in the path. One can remain in his own position. No one has to change his life, especially in the age of dedicated fatigue. The only condition is that one must give up the habit of dry speculation aimed at becoming one with the Lord. So we have main thing Prabhupada is telling is Mayavada we should avoid. That is very interesting term which Prabhupada is mentioning here. So let us go to, I think we are getting into next section, which is sloka number 37 to 40. Let us go to sloka number 37. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pratyumnaya Vrittaya Nama Sankarshanaya Cha. Let us all chant the glories of Vasudeva along with the plenary expansions of Pradyumna, Aniruddha and Sankarshana. This is the mantra given by Narada to Vyasadeva. Chanting this mantra will bring all success to Vyasadeva in composing Srimad Bhagavatam. So Pancharatra doctrine identifies Narada as source of all godhead expansions, including Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So these four are Lord Krishna's eight deep a Vedika starting with Omkar Pranava, so Om Namo Bhagavate, establishes a transcendental mantra. So Narada illustrates the significance of devotion leading to intimate connection with the Lord and and attainment of his devotional service, which is leading into love of God. So the chanting of the 33 letter hymn addressed to these four rasas. So that is this syllable which is put here. Now the question which was raised by confidential part of Sudha I am consisting of 33 letters, and this mantra is addressed to four deities or Lord. This is plenary expansion. The central figure is Lord Krishna because the plenary portions are eight sequence. So Lord Krishna is the center here, and he is getting glorified when we talk about his expansions, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, who are the original deities representing the Vishnu Tattvas or Shakti Tattvas. Om Namo Dhimahi is actually Kai. Om Namo Om Namo Dhimahi is right. So we are Narada is initiating Vyasadeva here. Let's go to the next shloka. Iti murtya vidanena mantra murtya murtikam yajate yajna purusham sa samyak darshana puman. Thus, he is the actual sphere who worships in the form of transcendental soul vibration, the supreme personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who has no material form. Srila Prabhupada is giving the meaning of murti as form and difficulty. representation. Srila Prabhupada relates Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura uh, that by receiving the mantras from one of its spiritual master, it is possible to realize Supreme Personality of God, very easily. Form and difficulty. So, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which we are chanting, is making us realize the Supreme Personality of God easily. This is not true with any other mantra. We can see in last 2 centuries, many people have gone to Western countries, but no Westerner has given up meat eating, illicit sex, etc. It is only Srila Prabhupada and Hare Krishna Mahamantra which has changed this trend. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura also has done this. So our imperfect senses cannot fully perceive Lord Vishnu's transcendental form. So it is difficult without difficulty. It is difficult. So that is why we need to chant. He is worshipped through chanting. Who? Supreme Personality God is chanted through worshipping, through chanting. Sound representation enables us to grasp what is beyond our senses. Just as a distant sound can be experienced, spiritual experience of divine is also personal and and it is blissful. It is full of knowledge. Therefore, it is possible to understand superpersonality of order by sound vibration rather than the form of murti. Maybe initially it is very difficult for us to understand the Lord in his deity form. It may be possible for a realized soul, but people who are at a gross material level cannot understand. So for them, the only remedy is chanting the holy names of the Lord. Let us go to sloka number 39. Imam Swanigamam Brahman Aviritya Mad Anustitam Adam Jnana Aishvaryam Swasmin Bhavan Cha Keshava. O Brahma, thus by Supreme Lord Krishna, I adored first with the transcendental knowledge of the Lord as inculcated in the confidential parts of others, then with the spiritual of others, then with this intimate loving service. Why did Narada, what did Narada get from this? Narada is getting three important things: Jnana, Aishwarya, then Swasmin Bhavan. Jnana means transcendental knowledge, then opulence, Swasmin Bhavan means personal intimate affection of the Lord, which is his loving service. So, with sound energy only, which is chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna, Narada was able to engage in his loving service with the Supreme Personality of God. So it is most important for us to learn proper hearing and chanting of holy name of the Lord. That is what we need to understand from here. So Sri Narada has explained all these comments is from his personal experience, and one can obtain all facilities which Sri Narada obtained by perfecting the chanting process of sound vibration of the Lord. There is no bar for chanting this transcendental Lord by anyone, provided this was received through Narada's representative coming down the chain of discipline succession or parampara system. So we need to be very clear on the parampara. Parampara is very important. Receiving mantra through parampara is very important. Tavam api adarbashruta tavam api adarbashruta vishrutam vivo samapyate yena vidam chitam प्राख्यायिदुके मुहुर्र्जितात्मनां संक्लेशनिर्वाणं कुशन्ति नन्यतः. Please therefore describe ultimately lost activities which we have learned by the vast knowledge of the Vedas, for that will satisfy anchorings of great learned man, at the same time mitigate the miseries of masses of common people who are always suffering from the material facts. Indeed, there is no other way to get out of such miseries. So Samapyate Vidam Bhushitam. Yena Vidam Bhushitam. Satisfy the anchorings of learned men. So and then in Bhagavad Gita there is a shloka that says Chaturvida bhajante ma jana sukriti ma arjuna artha jignashva arthati jnani cha bharatashava. Oh, best among the bharatas, there are four kinds of men. One is distressed, artha jignashva, arthati. Arthati is desire of wealth, jignashva is inquisitive, and then then one who is in distressed, desire of wealth, inquisitive, and one who is searching the knowledge of the absolute. Then there is one more sloka, one more part, arditatmanam, sanklesha nirvana, mitigate the miseries of common people. Namam dushkritina muda prapadyante naradama, maya aparatanyana asuram bhavam ashrita. So those miscreants were grossly foolish. So Supreme Personality of God's holy name will solve problems of the pious man as well as grossly foolish men. That is what we need to understand from this shloka. So Nardamuni is advising Vyasadeva to widely propagate the glories of Supreme Lord to solve all material problems. Good men seeking good God's shelter in difficulty, wealth, knowledge, and curiosity benefit from this knowledge. Conversely, bad men suffer due to attachment to fruity work, sense gratification, ignorance of God's authority, or atheism. For them also, this is the best way. So Narada suggests that Veda Vyasa should share this wisdom with all, regardless of class or belief or universal welfare and peace. So this is the main message from chapter number 5. So if you just go to the overview, so we have completed the full chapter now, Karma Yoga, and then chapter we talked about it. Then we talked about the sound incarnation of the Lord, which is much easier than Murti. Then Narada's experience on this, and conclusion is what Vedavyasa has to do is talk about Supreme Personality of God for good of grossly foolish and wise people. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Asakalpataribhishta, Kripasinduvayacha, Patidanam Pavebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo. Kalantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Krishna.